Tree.
A big thanks to my sponsors, Ibis Cycles, Kitspo Cycling Apparel, Cali Protectives, Trust Performance, PNW Components, WTB, Industry 9, Shimano, and Jensen USA. Any purchases from the below links at Jensen USA will directly help support my channel as well.
What's up, everyone? Jeff Kendall-Weed here. This right here is the new Ibis HD5. Today's video is all about this bike, setting it up, and I'll go into some ride report details too. First up, I do want to mention this video is sponsored by Jensen USA, and you can learn a ton about the new HD5 at the link in the description below. It goes to Jensen's website, and I have to say, Jensen is a great place to buy a new Ibis bike like this HD5. The guys at Jensen are well versed in the Ibis line, and they are a fantastic Ibis dealer. Before we dive into the rest of this video, I want to ask all of you a quick question. Do you race mountain bikes? I'm very curious about this because I'm a former racer. I fell in love with the sport partially through racing, but today I'm fully retired from all start lines. I've been retired for 3 years now, and I'm not planning on changing that anytime soon. I'd like to ask you, do you follow racing? Are you a racer yourself? And if you do race, what kind of racing do you do and on what type of bike? Let me know. I love cruising through the comments. I usually get back to as many people as I can. The HD5 was definitely developed as an enduro race bike. For the type of riding that I do, this is a good thing. It helps me send it as big as I can, but still maintain the kind of efficiency I need to pedal up long hills and go for really long rides.
Wheelbase is longer, the reach is longer. The cockpit's about the same. Seat angle, this is a bit steeper, consistent with the Ritmo. The head tube extended a bit. Lower link is the bushings. We do have a lifetime warranty on those bushings for the lower links. The suspension from the HD4 to HD5 in terms of kinematics and the shock that we use and everything else remains. We had gone very deep down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out how to make our HD4s work really, really good. Okay. We continued that, and so we have this huge head start on maximizing suspension performance on the HD5. Gotcha. So what we do is have a very, very light compression and very, very light rebound tune. And so what that does is lets the wheel get out of the way of the bump. You're not going to hang up on the bump. You're going to be able to just plow through them and continue on at Mach 7. And then the super fast rebound lets the wheel, once it gets out of the way of the bump, returns back into the dirt as quickly as possible. That maintains pressure of the tire on the ground. You're less likely to lose traction. And it lets the suspension extend out into the softer part of the travel. That keeps it feeling plush. You're not packing up. You maintain better control. Your brakes work a lot better. It's a big step up in terms of suspension performance.
Good morning.
Rob, how are you? How's it going, Jeff? The man of the hour.
What is this product?
It's a fork position sensor.
Okay.
And a shock position sensor. There's also a 9-axis accelerometer in the fork sensor, and there's a handlebar button.
Oh, okay.
So it's all wireless. Basically sends data to your phone.
Okay.
Very expensive computer.
Yeah.
And very high speeds. The cool thing is that once you're done with your ride, you basically just click a button and the app does about 1 billion calculations and gives you a comprehensive view of your suspension.
What does all this data tell us?
Well, so everybody rides their bike differently. We're not going to tell you how to set your bike up. That's still up to you.
Yeah.
And it's still kind of up to rider feeling, but we just quantify what the bike's doing.
So are you finding they're tuning more for like suspension to work on the bumps and to keep things from shaking them offline, or are they tuning more for traction, for braking, and for cornering?
I think it's all the same.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because what works well with maintaining a nice line through the bumps ends up being more contact with the ground, which means your braking is going to be better, which means
more contact with the ground.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you found that skinnier, smaller, lighter riders need to get over stuff more, and the bigger guys need to be on the ground more, and there's a difference in setup there?
We've discovered that the smaller riders are taking a lot more abuse on the bikes.
Okay.
Just through the data, just said, look, you've got a you need a lighter tune.
Gotcha.
And so they've gone back and gotten lighter tunes, and they're finally experiencing the bikes that these World Cup riders are getting, because they're so much faster, they're able to get the speeds out of the fork. They're kind of set up for those riders. So, but if you're 140 pounds, it's tough.
Yeah.
At least with the data, you've got a set of data that you can have a conversation it's not just based on, oh, it felt like this, or,
Yeah.
you know, it's just, you know.
Oh my God. Thing feels so loose. Skids everywhere.
We could lower the pressure a little bit if you think that would help increase the grip.
We could try 2 PSI, that'd probably be smart. Okay. Let's look at the app.
Yeah, 95% fork travel, 90% rear travel. Average position 24 and rear 30%. Good compression speeds, good rebound speeds, yeah.
So you think it's within the ballpark?
No, I would definitely do a little bit more pressure in the fork because that will, I mean, you did get more travel in the rear, in the front than the rear. The optimum rebound to get maximum traction is the fastest rebound you yourself can handle on that trail on that day.
For the bike to track.
Should I push the button again?
As soon as you start rolling.
Pedals, where are you? Oh! Oh. Oh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Ride's better, but my feet keep coming off the pedals.
Okay.
Well, I'm afraid to really try to corner hard. I just don't trust that it's actually gonna hook up. I think it's just gonna push.
That's been my feeling as well when I have too much pressure in the fork, because I'm not able to get my weight and actually pressure my front tire. So everything's moving fast enough and we have some room to like kind of settle the bike down a bit more.
So softer air pressure in front, a little bit more low speed damping, because you guys want to add way more low speed before you start adding high speed. This bike's a lot cushier than the Mojo tie down this section. Send it, bro. Send it, bro. Oh. 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 Dude, that was noticeably better.
Does that help?
Significantly. If it was my seat of the pants tuning, I would have gone slightly more firm in the front and a little more firm in the rear.
Okay.
And I would slow the rebound down so my feet aren't so loose on the pedals. But this is way closer than the first two.
Cool. Your max travel is exactly the same, 94% front and rear.
Okay.
So that's like meaning you hit the biggest bump of the day and it moved exactly the same amount. Slow down your fork a tiny bit more.
Yeah.
Slow down the rear a little bit more, or speed up the front a little bit more.
I think slower, better. Yeah.
Okay. Where the fork is, it's not feeling harsh or anything like that.
No, not harsh.
When you start getting into the range of a little too much low speed compression, then your hands start stinging a tiny bit. So, and you're not there yet, so.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Really good speeds. Pressure balance a little off. Fork is just moving slower.
Just about every time I go off one of those little root bumps and try to clear a distance, it just super nosedives. I think it's more related to how low the handlebars are and how short that stem is as well. Wide bars too, a little narrower would feel nice. I'm used to fixing stuff like that with the cockpit. Landing from jumps, I feel pretty out of control. Like land.
It's not like a stable platform to land on.
No, it's just like, whoosh, and it just feels loose. I feel like I'm gonna slide out. There's that one right-hand corner I try to push into, and it snaps back so fast I just end up skidding after it.
Okay.
Like drifting out of the corner, not through it. Yeah, if it was like my seat of the pants, I would slow down. Rebound quite a bit, like 25-ish%, and compression probably 15.
You're on the far end spectrum of riders who'll be on our bikes, and we feel like we have enough adjustment within the
tune.
within the range
Yeah.
of, all we did is move the range to the lighter spectrum.
Yeah, yeah.
But we should still be able to capture everybody's experience.
Gotcha.
Within that adjustability range of the Fox product. What I'd like to do is just clamp it down.
Okay.
Get you feeling good on it.
Sweet.
So that you can attack the trail like you like to, and you feel comfortable on it. And then we'll just measure it and see how fast it's actually moving at that point.
Sweet.
More compression, front and rear.
Oh, where's the shifter? Oh! That was way more fun. I still got pretty nose heavy on the jump into the corner and kind of out of control in the corner there, but the S-turn section felt better.
Cool.
The front end felt like it was moving more and more easily than what I would want on my own setup.
Yeah, your compression balance is really good.
Cool.
2.2.
Look at that.
Yeah,
cool.
That's pretty sweet. It looks like the fork is moving faster than the rear.
Okay.
So if the fork felt okay to you.
Yeah, I wouldn't want the fork any slower. Like it's.
Okay. So then we'll
I thought at first that it was on the hair of being too slow.
speed up the rear to match the fork.
Oh, the rear's too
Rear's
slow.
rebounding slower than the fork. So what you're doing is getting that pack up and it's slacking out as you go through bumps.
Huh.
We'll take some high-speed rebound
High speed.
out of the rear. Well, yeah, you got plenty of compression speed. Your rebound speed in the fork is still right where it should be.
Cool. It felt,
Your
I had a lot
rebound
more
speed
confidence in it,
the
but
rear is down significantly. You have 2 each of high and low speed rebound, and that will, I think, set you up pretty good. Your compressions are like I showed you, like almost spot on.
Cool.
So like that's like.
uh-oh. Tree. Oh. Front tire just broke out right there.
Yeah.
I hit a tree really hard.
Did you? Right back there?
I just got distracted, didn't focus, and then just wham! Thought I could steer it, and I just was like, can't lean it quite that much. In the Ritmo AF video, I asked everyone what would be the next coolest Ibis for the company to make, and many of you answered a 150, 170 travel bike would be super cool. Well, here it is. Let's snap into the bike build. For the wheels on this bike, I've been sitting on something special that I've been really anticipating getting on here ASAP. I'll show you. My good friends at Industry 9 sent me these things. For the wheels on this, Industry 9 hooked me up with some rad, bright red Hydra hubs. I've been digging the alloy rims on my Ritmly, no stress. They're not as light as the carbons, but you don't have to worry about them at all. And I want to ride this with some lower tire pressures and maybe some 2.6s in the rock. For the tire combo on this bike, I'm gonna run a WTB Judge 2.4 in the rear. Front, I'm gonna run the new WTB Verdict. This thing's burly. I've ridden Vigilantes almost exclusively in the front, so I'm excited to check out the new Verdict. This is roughly my build. I've tried both Fox Float X2 and Fox DPX2 rear shocks. Currently I'm leaving the DPX2 on for another couple weeks. The Shout 178 travel fork has been very stout and I'm really enjoying it. The aluminum wheels, low stress, I really like those. P&W Components got me a 200 mil Bachelor dropper post, which is fantastic. I finally have the saddle down low enough that I don't ever think about it. Ride-wise, compared to the HD4, I honestly rode the HD4 mostly with a 170 fork in front, and I also rode it with that custom short travel setup I did. It's hard to do a complete apples to apples because it's been so long since I rode the big fork on the HD4. The most noticeable thing for me on the difference between these two bikes was climbing. That steeper seat tube angle is much more comfortable on any kind of steep uphill. That lighter shock tune is definitely pretty nice. I had to tune it up pretty firm, probably firmer than the average rider, but with the stock setup, I was able to get it well within the ballpark for what I like on my bikes. The bike got a little bit lighter and a little bit stiffer than the HD4. Not hugely noticeable on the trail, but it's definitely worth mentioning. The small detail improvements on the 5 are definitely a big step up, so I really like being able to use a 180 rear rotor natively with no post-to-post 20 mil adapters. And I'm pumped that the seat tube got shorter so I can fit the whole 200 mil dropper post. The taller head tube is a nice upgrade in terms of fit. I don't have to use so many spacers under my stem. And I definitely want to mention that the new cable routing is a big improvement over the old bike. That was probably my favorite thing when putting it together. I could just run the brake line straight through. No zip ties necessary on the entire bike. A bit of a first for Ibis, the seat tube cable is routed thoroughly on the inside of the frame, so it never comes out and back in. That was just easier and quicker when I was putting it together. If you're thinking about a new enduro bike, the HD5 gets my recommendation as an awesome all-around enduro, all-mountain, heavy-duty trail type bike. I have a link in the YouTube description below over to Jensen USA. They are a fantastic Ibis dealer, and if you want to get one of these bikes as soon as possible, definitely consider working with someone like Jensen USA. Once again, it would be rad to see you guys. Let me know what kind of racing you do, if you do any racing, do you follow racing? And if you are a racer, what kind of bike do you use for the events that you like? I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed putting it together. Until next time, click that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the trails. Cheers.